Here's a quote that actually describes this game in one simple sentence thanks to an upvoted comment I saw. This game is the type of game you see people playing in movies. You know those random out-of-place action game every kid is playing on their non-existent Xbox 720? Well, believe it or not, this is one of the games I'm most intrigued about in 2022, and it's a game that a lot of you might not know about for the simple fact that, well, we just don't hear about it anymore. It's got freaking robot dragons, robot spiders, sword-wielding robots that we can control, a ton of vehicles, a ton of different unique weapons to have and customize, different armors, and it's basically a Battlefield game on steroids, but with robots and as an indie game. A lot of you might say it is just an all-out war game that won't survive for long because there is a ton of other games just like this that are AAA and offer more gameplay features. Well, I think this game will stay alive longer than you think because first of all, it'll be completely free to play, and second, the developers have gone and worked really hard to create unique gameplay features and unique maps that all have something special in it. This is Exomecha, and while Exomecha could look like an action shooter that doesn't have any longevity to it, well, to me, I'm just happy that the creators are concentrated on making a simple, fun experience. This game right here is the kind of game I talk about when you just want to have fun after a long day of work or school, and it's exactly what it's planned to be when it releases on PC and Xbox. It looks already great as a PvP shooter with giant mechs and other vehicles, but the fact that every single match a huge AI dragon will come and cause absolute chaos is a massive plus to the game, no doubt about it. In a couple of days, it'll be a year since we haven't seen any new gameplay and trailer or heard any new details from Exomecha. All that we know is that in 2021, the developers delayed the game to 2022 and that it'll be its release date window, hopefully. Well, don't worry, it has not been cancelled at all and it's still in heavy development as we speak. I also think a lot of people criticize how bad some of the animations were, for example, when assassinating an enemy, and they definitely have seen these comments, and so they're working hard, I hope, to just update all these animations that we think felt a little bit old, like some really older games have. They also have to work on the different maps that will be available at release. Since this is a game that releases on both Xbox Series X and PC, well, Xbox doesn't want to see a completely broken, fan-made early access game hit the store and be abandoned after, so at least we know it'll release in a state that's a bit playable. And by the way, the chrome-like graphics with lens flare, it's completely intentional by the developers. Exomecha's class system will determine how many abilities, weapons, gadgets, and tacticals you can equip. For instance, if you just want to focus on 2 active abilities, you can have them, but must drop one of your weapons and all your passive abilities. Each choice will have different penalties to balance your character build. Players will also need to create their mech loadout pre-match. In addition to fighting with swords and firearms in the battle, mechs also have offensive, defensive, and tactical abilities. Moreover, players will also be able to assign some skill points to improve their damage, agility, health, or stamina. In addition to mechs, you'll be able to use 5 other vehicles, and maybe the developers will add more vehicles in the future. But these vehicles right now, you'll be able to navigate across Omecha with quad bike, jeeps, heavy tanks, spider tanks, and helicopters. With the grappling hook, you can get into all these vehicles quickly, ejecting yourself from one vehicle and getting into another vehicle immediately, regardless of whether the player is in the air or on the ground. In this way, the dynamic gameplay is always at the highest pace and the battle continues without any interruption. The distinguished element in Exomecha is of course the independent AI-controlled dragon. It is basically everyone's enemy in every match. In the middle of every match, this massive dragon will come to a random area of the map and will start throwing its flames. Its presence will represent a danger zone, but there will be a really high reward if you decide to go near him and engage. But there's also gonna be other players that you'll have to be careful of. For now, there is said to be 3 game modes: an epic large-scale Battlefield-like mode, a Battle Royale mode, and a small-scale competitive mode. For more on Exomecha and free games similar to this, make sure you support this video and subscribe.